access, so people can access them even way beyond that.
It's really a good thing, because now it's going to be on a Monday. Definitely people will have a prolonged weekend.
Absolutely, absolutely.
A prolonged weekend. You know, it's very funny how
the event is going to be on Monday.
Yes, it's going to be on a Monday,
Okay.
and people have actually plans for public holidays. If you've noticed, people have plans like, oh, I'm left with only 2 months, so that, you know, oh, it's a Monday, so, you know, people, you know, it's good actually that these public holidays are in, so that people get time to relax up and weekend, you know, just to
actually also this year we've had public holidays that have been close to the weekend. We had ED, the first ED it was on a Friday, you know, that's the whole Saturday, Sunday. I think we had Labor Day also on Monday, right? Was it?
Probably, I don't remember.
If I'm not mistaken. Now we're having all that. Well, it's been quite a very amazing time. Exactly 9 minutes past 7, and of course getting straight into our morning call for this time. Of course, talking about Q1 expenditure release for the financial year 2023-2024. Now, according to the look of things, about 4.83 and released, representing 16%. That is of the discretionary budget. Now, of course, government is to carry on with spending optimization on this note, and PSST has revealed that the government will not spend money it doesn't have, but instead will reduce expenditure. That is for activities that do not add value to the economy or the well-being of Ugandans. Now we have Ramadan Gobi with this. Let's get into it. Albert, turning to wrap this out.
In order to continue preserving our debt sustainability while sustaining the impressive recovery from COVID, which I've already communicated, government will carry on with spending optimization in areas of the economy that have the biggest impact. Government will not spend money it does not have. Instead of borrowing beyond our optimal levels, we shall, whenever necessary, reduce expenditure for activities that do not add to the value of the economy or the well-being of Ugandans. In particular, we shall not borrow at interest cost that is too high, especially in the domestic market. Government will continue to explore new financing initiatives that last financial year enabled us to reduce our financing cost. We are able to save, last year, we were able to save the taxpayers of this country over 1.9 trillion shillings in interest cost. And we intend to continue pursuing innovative financing to save even more. Consequently, we call upon our financing partners, particularly in the domestic market, to adjust their expectations. Government will only contract domestic debt if and when it makes financial sense to the taxpayer. In line with the Ministry's commitment to release funds before the 10th day of the first month of the quarter, I issued the Q1 expenditure limits on 6th July 2023 to ensure timely execution of government programs. The expenditure limits for Q1 of this year were derived based on the work plans and procurement plans of the ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as local governments, and the available resources for Q1. This quarter is going to run from July to September, and we have allocated or released 4.833 trillion shillings, representing 16% of the discretionary budget, as follows: wage, 1.824 trillion shillings, non-wage, 2.698 trillion shillings, Government of Uganda Development 198.35 billion, and arrears 111.688 billion. So in total, we released the cash of 4 trillion 832 billion and 918 million.
Well, the biggest point in here, of course, spending, reducing on expenditure activities that actually don't develop the country, right? That is quite a very, I mean, a way out to go. I mean, they talked about a suspension of certain trips, you know, for the different
purchasing of new cars,
are perfect, you know, and all that. Anything that doesn't add anything to the economy.
Yes. Anyway, it's just that, you know, naturally, I think Ugandans, we are a bit extravagant. I mean, because if you have the money, you can purchase anything or go anywhere. So definitely, we are using money for the wrong, not for the wrong reasons, or for the right reasons, but maybe
just lack of a discipline on how to handle the finances.
Yes, definitely.
And that is something that is very key. But you see, by the way, the whole reason why all this comes in through, we have this effect of, anyway, it's a long story. If I start on it right now, it will take long. Straight is all the way from the slave trade. I mean, it's a common aspect when it comes to a black person everywhere. You know, you find billionaires who are whites, but they never showcase what they have, their wealth. But if being a black man,
being a black person,
so we find that as prestige.
Yes, we find it as prestige because I mean we did not grow into it.
It's perfect. Absolutely, that's quite a very interesting conversation in there. Probably some other time we shall proceed with it. Well, now let's switch and take a look at what's making headlines into the press. Have the new vision with me, and Masu Katsime will be taking us through what the Daily Monitor says. I think today, let's take a look. What's happening in there? What's making headlines?
Well. Of course, like yesterday, we read about the FDC's fight over money. Who knew?
Of course, money in the state, and I mean, causing rumbles into the party, huh?
Money, and of course, we see here FDC's day of reckoning, and of course, Party President Amuriat to reveal malls. Oh, well, that's very interesting. And of course, I see here Museveni and of course Senegal's Sall discuss regional security. And of course, for the Catholics out there, they lost an Archbishop, Pachenga. I remember him when I was still schooling in Bara. One of the schools, it was a Catholic school. We used to go to Nyamitanga for service. And he used to he used to be the Archbishop then.
That's upside.
We are really for his demise, we are really console and send our condolences to the family.
All right.
And of course, Amongi tasks NSSF to hire a new boss. I mean, that's, you know, remember the saga about NSSF?
Very well. Very well. Very interesting in here. And now, as we cross over to the new vision, you can see, of course, government releases 111 billion Ugandan shillings for pension arrears, and the country registers positive economic indicators. You know, everything that comes out about Uganda's economy into the local press is just so amazing and very positive. But I don't know how realistic is it to the common person. But anyway, that was just I was just saying. Now we see government proposes compulsory education tax. Fresh taxes in the financial year 2023-2024 here. Now, on top of what you mentioned there about Uganda and Senegal, was it Uganda and Senegal discussing regional security?
Yeah, Senegal.
All right. Now, there is some other aspect away from that security. They also discussed trade matters. Senegal to buy Uganda's milk. And President Yoweri Museveni, here we can see an image where chatting with his Senegalese counterpart. That is at Mackay Mall. This was yesterday. That is, after arrival at the State House. Actually, that's the brief image of him and that counterpart in there, arriving to talk about how Uganda's milk can be bought in Senegal there.
And of course, in Daily Monitor, government fails to spend 4.5 trillion amid service delivery flaws. And of course, here it reads that ministries, departments and agencies and the local government in the financial year that ended, that was June 2022, failed to utilize the 4.5 trillion of the budget, resulting in denial of much needed services for Ugandans, is according to a report by the Auditor General. Right there, how can you fail to utilize money allocated?
It happens when you don't have financial, managing skills when it comes to distributing of income. You know, we've done project management, supervising, and all that. At some point, probably the personalities that are responsible to fulfill these duties, maybe they're not competent enough, because I believe we have sections in government, and each department has a responsibility. That's why we have what we call specialization, into this. So why would you fail to distribute? Well, at some times you could be disrupted. Your operations might be disrupted by third-party stakeholders.
Yes, you may be a specialist, but of course you have no say on where,
you have no say.
What happens really. You're just ceremonial, I must say.
Exactly.
So definitely we need to make use of these people. They have started, so definitely let's give them a chance to build our nation and see it grow.
All right. Now, government to issue 1 million free household titles in 16 districts in there. Well, I think it's exactly 20 minutes. Now we're crossing towards the traffic. That is it for our press review this morning on the top stories that are happening in there. Now let's take a look at the traffic. Of course, I know you're leaving home and you're planning your journey out regardless, and we all stay, of course, in different areas. Some are densely populated, some are sparsely populated accordingly, but definitely you can actually base on that to have a plan for yourself, how you're going to travel, basing on, at least for the times you've stayed in that place. You must know the traffic atmosphere like there, and what are the best routes that you can actually link up to when you're heading towards your work. Probably majority of us, I know, we walk towards heading town, the city center. Now the images that we observed in there coming in from the clock tower. Yes, clock tower. And you can see the movement of the vehicles. Now I can see the people that are coming in from where the route is facing in there. We are talking about people along Kabalagala, that is Kansanga, Gaba Road, definitely heading towards Bonga, and you come in town. Actually, that route of late, it seems to be not to be much of a congestion issue to be there, unlike way back in the times. I don't know what really explains, because you see some of the major attributes, some of the major contributors towards these congestions is towards once students in school. Those are always some kind of congested times, and once they get back. But now we're in a scenario where they are also they are schooling already, but the situation seems to be a little bit calm. So if you're coming in from Kabalagala, you're coming in from Kansanga, from all those areas along Gaba Road, well, it might be a lucky day, but though still on that very route, sometimes they seem to be we have these routes which are not divided, whether this is a one-way, this is a two-way, and sometimes there can be some sorts of havoc coming in, but there is nothing that separates into the roads to create the right demarcations there. So, but of course, I can see towards if you're heading towards town, now these are vehicles that are coming in from Entebbe side, according to the look of things, and they're heading towards town. There seems to be a huge I can see some havoc in between there. Yes, there is a bit of havoc in between there, but definitely the responsible parties, that is the traffic officers, need to do something about that. to make sure that everything gets in order. And of course, another fact that we know about this place is that it's one of those places that have majority of passers-by, or we can call pedestrians that walk, majority, actually a big percentage of them be walking, coming from this side of like Kansanga, Kabalagala, coming from those sides of Entebbe. And actually there are those that are coming from Wasafi side, the Wasafi taxi park side, and they're also coming towards the city center. So that leads to really a huge congestion around that whole area, because even some of the places where the people which are nearby there are a little bit congested when it comes to the population of the people, and they're all heading towards the city center. So that explains why you can see that combination of pedestrians, borders, public vehicles, private vehicles also use that route, and the fact that it's not yet complete, well, it's inevitable to really avoid the congestion there. And also in that congestion, sometimes it's dangerous. You gotta be careful as you're walking in there, because there are quite people that snatch bags on that very road actually. So you have to be careful that you take advantage of the congestion to come and do harm and come and take your property in that perspective. So for the people still that are coming in from the city center, and probably you're planning to head towards those areas, those destinations, there is some havoc in there, some sort of a confusion, a congestion into that. So you might be delayed a little bit, so you must be really patient enough. If you can't be, probably you could think of other means of transport. For example, you could grab yourself a border and you head towards those areas. Now that's the Wasafi side. Those vehicles that we are observing in there coming in from that side, and majority are coming in from Entebbe areas along Entebbe Road. They are reporting that is towards town. Is it? Yeah. Okay, I can see some even bicycle riders in here, so that really brings a lot of confusion. Now the Kansanga route, Kabalagala route, Gaba Road seems to be blank in there, according to the look of things. And now there are still people that are coming in from town. You see, they're heading towards Kansanga, Kabalagala. There are some also that are heading towards Entebbe Road, and probably they're going to work. As much as a place is residential, to some people, it can actually be a workplace. Actually, this is Kabalagala, coming in from Kabalagala. Yes, that's the Kabalagala road connecting, and they're connecting to town. So they're held a little bit back. Well, it's exactly 26 minutes past 7, and that is it for the traffic updates this morning. You can really see and be in position to actually make the right decision in terms of what route to use and what time to travel as you're heading to different work destination. You're still watching Smart Man's Business. I'm Andrew Baranger this morning with Marcy Katsume, and I shall be driving you all the way in here. Later on, of course, we shall be joined with Joram Paul Sonko for further related discussions. But of course, before we get into the break, don't forget the markets on the Zabo platform, which will be opening any time from now. Start 92 hash is simply the USSD code for you there, which will avail you with a number of options where you will be in position to buy government bonds and securities for a fee of just 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now, the markets open at exactly 8:15 a.m. running all the way to 3:15 p.m. Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays when these markets are not accessible. But despite the fact you have all the days to to trade and make your financial life to a whole new level. Yes, of course, with Start 92 hash, you register with your national identification number, and once that is done, well, you'll be able to trade securities without anybody disrupting you, and life will never be the same. Now, Zabo says, my money, my future, and Daltex East Africa says, do something new. Now let's get into the break, and I shall be returning with more discussions.